Morning guys, how are we doing? Hope you're good. Friday vibes. Hope you're having a great week so far. Back to routine and getting back into it slowly. Some of you probably aren't starting until Monday, but either way, I hope you have a sort of good day and Friday. So if you're listening on podcast, please do leave a review at the end of this. I'd massively appreciate it. Or if you're watching on here, please do drop a share. It's important to get this message out. So today I thought we'd talk a little bit about robustness. It's something I can relate to an awful lot. I think we have to be strong with our robustness and being robust, because life tends to throw a lot of shit our way, so we need to be robust. Happy New Year, Jamie. Morning, Craig. And we need to make sure that we are becoming resilient, that we're building the layers, the force field. Morning, Scott. To be able to deal with it, so that we're coping, so that we're strong, mentally strong, to allow us to become physically strong. Now, I remember my first dealing with being robust, and that was in the Marines, and that was when that was from day one, to be fair. But the real robustness was when we used to go on our long training exercises in the field. Now it'd be cold like a morning this morning. You know, we'd be being beasted, we'd be being fucking hammered, we'd be doing push-ups, squats, sprints, getting wet, trying to do wet and dry routine. So that means getting out your wet clothes into your dry clothes when you got to get your head down, and then getting back into your wet clothes when you have to go to sentry, and then packing up, and then going on another 10-mile hike, yomp, to the next spot that we have to go to, and then doing all the same thing. And you have to build up a resilience, a robustness, to be able to cope with it. And those that couldn't never really stuck out through training. And that's the type of robustness that or the mindset I think that we need to do to build up during life or through life, when we're trying to get fit, when we're trying to cope with work and relationships. And I think what the beauty here is that over the period of 32 weeks during my basic training, we built up the robustness. So it started nice and steady. The robustness and resilience started just in the gym, as in when we were getting our basic fitness done, trying to sustain it, trying to deal with it, trying to deal with the pounding that was going on. And then with everything that was going on with all the kit musters and all the bullshit that they were doing to fuck with your head. And that's how I always think of life. I always think of life as my training team, always trying to fuck with my head, always trying to throw things at me. And whenever I think of things that always come up, like reality, real life problems that are coming up, fastballs that need dealing with, it's kind of like my training team trying to make me more resilient, more robust. Morning, Stu. Morning, Si. And that's how I look at life. So that's how I approach life. I approach it with that strict mental capability to be able to avoid or let problems bounce off me. Now, I think in life we have to be able to learn to be robust. Otherwise, what we do is make excuses not to get fit, not to go to the gym. Life overwhelms us and we're not resilient enough or robust enough to deal with them, so we ignore the problem. And then sometimes we emotionally eat, we emotionally drink, we fucking go a bit doolally. Anxiety kicks in a little bit. We allow the brain and the anxiety side of the brain and depression to creep in. And we're not building up the strength of mind. Now, the whole saying of being in the Marines was always, it's a strength of mind. Everything that they throw of you is not necessarily physical, although it is. Everything's about the mental fortitude, the mental strength that you have. It's about the resistance and robustness of what you can take, so that when you're in war, you can deal with that. And your war in relation is real life. Your war is getting up every single day, finding purpose, trying to stick to your routine, trying to stay disciplined with food, trying to keep to your time management, as in the workouts, get into the gym, maintaining a healthy relationship with your wife or your husband, maintaining that important communication and relationship at work, dealing with problems at work, dealing with fuckwits. That's your war. That's your war. That's my war now. It wasn't when I was in Afghan. It was a different type of war. But you still need the same robustness and resilience all of the time, right? You need to be able to soak up what's going on around you, look at some of the things that have been thrown at you, the problems, and kind of build this force field around you. I always imagine it being a force field, so that when things come in your way, they just rebound off you. You know, so when suddenly you're fastballed with a task at work, instead of getting stressed about it, or letting it overwhelm you, or throwing a fucking paddy and throwing your toys out the pram, just like take it in for a second. Take a knee, take a deep breath, and just accept it. There are people every day losing their rag, losing their shit, getting stressed out, getting anxious or fucked off because they're letting problems consume them. The force field isn't strong, so what happens is that all of these little things that are happening, all these problems, your war, the rounds coming in, are consuming you. They're becoming part of your DNA. They're becoming part of your daily actions, and you're soaking that up. And what you're not doing is staying mentally strong enough to be able to resist all of those problems. All right. So when you build up the robustness, and it takes time. It does take time. It's like a boxer. The first time he gets hit in the chin, it's gonna fucking hurt. 10 years later, you won't even feel that punch, because you've become so robust and resilient to that punch. You just build up that mindset. That strength of mind becomes stronger to be able to cope with that first punch. So in 10 years, you're smashing it. Same with my running. In October, I started off running 3 to 4 miles. Yesterday, I did 20 miles. There's no fucking way I could have done 20 miles back then. I could have, but I died more than I did yesterday. That's building up the robustness and resilience here while I'm running, but my body as well. So what you have to do is start looking at the situations that are coming in, the things that are going on in your life. Ask yourself, what are you holding on to stuff? Are you playing victim? Are you burying your head in the sand? Just fucking drop the shit. And I promise you, when you learn to become so robust and so mentally tough and resilient, that you only focus on yourself. It's like the Matrix. You suddenly see the Matrix and everything makes sense. Sorry, just got to check the time. Everything makes sense. Someone throws something at you, you're like, yeah, that's fine. I'm concentrating on me. I'll come back to that later. I look at business now, and when I look at problems coming in or things going in, I used to be straight on my phone. I used to reply to people at 11 o'clock at night. I used to get back to emails at 2 o'clock in the morning because I didn't want those people to think, oh my God, I'm ignoring them. Like now there are priorities. Like I'm the priority. I have my timings that I work. I have strict routine, structure, routines, structure, habits. I no longer allow myself to fall foul of that and be consumed by trying to get back to everybody and do everything. I live the life that I want to live. I stay strict with the discipline, the robustness, the resilience. When the curveball's thrown at me, I prioritise it and think, is it something important? Is it not important? If it's important, fucking deal with it right there and then. If it's not, you can fucking wait till I'm ready to come to it. Okay, and that's what we do. And when we don't do that, we fall back on bad habits. Like I mentioned earlier, the drinking, the eating, the unhappiness, the low confidence, the low self-esteem. It consumes you like a disease. All right, so I want you to start thinking a little bit more resilient. I want you to start thinking a little bit more robust. I want you to be a little bit more mentally tougher and stronger. Okay, get your force field up. All right, so that force field is going to get stronger and thicker. The more you're actively being aware of your robustness and your resilience, your layers are going to get thicker. It's going to be harder for problems to get in. And you end up having this unbreakable mindset where nothing can stop you, nothing can get in your way. You're in complete control. Yeah, 1 or 2 things might get through. That's real life. But overall, your resilience and your robustness is so strong that nothing gets through and you become unbreakable, unmovable, and you become completely focused and driven, and passionate and obsessed about yourself and everything that you're trying to achieve. I'm going to leave you on that. If you're watching on a video, thanks for listening. Share on the video for me. And if you are on the podcast, please do leave a review at the end. It will take you literally seconds. All you do is scroll down the feed on the app that you're listening on at, and it should say review, and you just write a little something in there about how you love my hat. Have a great weekend. I'm not sure if I'm going to be on live at all, but if I do, I will see you then. If not, have an amazing weekend. Remember, resilience, robustness, start building it up, and as time goes on, you'll get stronger and stronger and stronger. All right, guys, have a great day.